Welcome back, fellers and not fellers. Jet Scott here with Scott Speed Shop, and today, well, rather, what's left of today, Easter Sunday, working on the old duster. And I originally was going to do, I left my mineral spirits open. Oh, we're already starting off on a bad start here. And a bunch of that evaporated. Anyways, I was originally going to do a video showcasing the awful exhaust system that's on that car. And a lot of that just stems from the fact that the mufflers dump right at the rear end, and literally they're blowing right on the rear end, which, if you're not familiar with what that'll do, is it creates a lot of noise and vibrations. All the sound is getting trapped underneath the car, and it's awful. It's absolutely awful. So my plan was to change the exhaust system out just a little bit. Maybe go with a little classic Scott Speed Shop flare, you know, side exhaust. So I'm not a big fan of the mufflers that are on it. They're kind of tinny. It's not really my style. And well, several moons ago at Roadkill Nights in Kansas City, well, back in 2016, I got to meet up with the people at Gibson who make a bunch of really fancy mufflers. And they actually had they filmed a commercial with me, and they loved Jezebel back in the day. And if I have the clip somewhere, I'll just dump that in right here. The very embarrassing but cool commercial I filmed. Never been filmed by like professionals before. It was kind of cringy. I'm Jed. I just won this NWA muffler, and I'm a BMF. But so they actually gave me these Gibson stainless steel mufflers for Jezebel. And the reason why they're not on the car is they're a little loud, because they're not much of a muffler really, because, well, you can see straight through them. All this muffler is, this is an MWA, a muffler with attitude as they call it, which is kind of neat. It's literally a pipe that goes, no packing in here, and it's got big holes cut in it. So when the sound, at low RPM and idle, you know, the sound goes through here and it bounces around and it muffles, but at high RPM it goes whoop, straight through. And I'll show you what I'm talking about without trying to showcase too much. But now the exhaust comes around, X pipe, and then the muffler's right there, and then there's about 1 inch to 2 inches before it hits the rear end. Just not enough room. And a lot of people would tell me, well, why don't you just finish it out the back? Ow! Freaking little antenna thing caught my arm. Well, I don't like exhaust out the back. It's just not my thing. That's how Dad's car is. It's cool, which it's covered, but I'll just show you what I had in mind. Originally, I'll probably show you what I did on the car. I was going to build a boom tube, NASCAR style exhaust. And as you can see, I took my 2.5 inch exhaust piece and split it down the middle, and I was getting ready to make that, and then I started thinking to myself, do I really want to get this involved in an exhaust system that may or may not stay, or I may not like? And I got a friend, Marty, who has Useful Entertainment. He interviewed a guy who has a really sweet Monte Carlo. I think his name's Austin Bowers. And he did it like the Monte Carlo from Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift, which is one of my favorite movies. And I was sitting there thinking, looking at his exhaust, and I was like, that's a really cool exhaust tip. So that's what I came up with. Now, before you freak out and go, well, that looks like crap, the muffler will sit back about another 2.5 inches. Well, everything will sit back another 2.5 inches. So it should be centered right there in that part of the quarter panel. But that's what I did. That's a 3-inch, 45-degree bend that I got from Jags. And uh-oh, come on, Dexter, work with me. Oh, I should have had this out already. And that's what it started out as, you know, just typical 45-degree, 3-inch bend. And I got it all mocked up on the side of the car and figured out how much I wanted to take off of it, and this is the offcut. So, you know, that's how much I removed. I did a lot of that off camera because I just wanted to see if I was going to like it, and I didn't want to waste a bunch of, you know, space on the SD card that I have to delete if I didn't like it. Well, I think I like that. I really do. The only thing I don't like is you can see the muffler poking out right now. Just barely. It's about, 3 inches or 4 inches away from the rocker on the outside. But once it's scoot back and it's in line with the X pipe, I think it'll be fine. And we can always shorten it and move it further into the body, or we can make it pull it out. So there's a lot of fine tuning we can do. And yeah, this is gonna mean pulling the X pipe and everything down and cutting it up, but this is what I like. I think it'll be kind of neat, you know. It'll give it kind of that almost low race car stance. Because this one, we're not really, you know, all my cars, we try to keep them nostalgic in a sense, but this one, I think we're just gonna go balls to the wall. We're just gonna make it different, freaking cool. So, now that you've seen what I've been up to, I think it's time we start working on the other side. Get the other side all mocked up and ready. And, well, I'll walk you through it. Alrighty, so here's our basic mock-up. And yeah, the current exhaust is 2.5 inch and we're adapting it to 3 inch, but yeah. So, let me see if I can carry this big old heavy lump out with me. Yep. And let me just show you what we're doing. Where we're putting this. On the ground with you. Oh, on the ground. Alright, so we're way up there. So you see that first bend? That's where, oh no, we're putting on the second bend. So right here on this bend, that's basically, we're gonna come straight out from there to here. And hopefully, whoever built this was somewhat, well, uniform, so it half-ass matches. Because an exhaust that, I mean, you only see one side of the car at a time, but I will know if it's crooked or not even, and that'll bug me until the day I die. So hopefully it's somewhat square. So I'm gonna get my mock-up done over here and I'll show you what it looks like. Alrighty, well, we ran into a little snag, and that is just because of dissymmetry, no symmetry. Dang it, hands, work with me here. So I can't really mock up this side to reflect the driver's side, and I don't know why. The end of the muffler case winds up being level right here at the lip, whereas the other one on the driver's side is about 1 inch in from the lip. So I think it's just because the muffler itself is hitting the exhaust pipe here, because this pipe is probably bowed out more than the other side. So what it's going to come down to is, I think I'm going to go ahead and regret doing it, but I'm going to go ahead and slash cut this just like the other side, and then wait till probably tomorrow when I got a little more daylight, and then we're going to take the exhaust off and cut it where I believe it needs to be cut, and then we'll finish mocking up, and hopefully we can make something out of this. And I don't just screw myself and have to run open head. Open headers ain't too bad. But probably out of this engine, it sounds like crap. So let's cut this tip. Alrighty, well, we're over here marking this bad boy out. And by some kind of miracle of science and magic and wizardry, this piece is exactly 7 inches long from here to here. Now, of course, I got to take into account that's just a square cut, and it needs to be rounded in the future, so I need a little bit more. So I marked it down here, just kind of drew a general U, transferred it to this side about the shape I want at the tip. And now what I'm going to do, we don't need this tape measure, I have my pinstripe and tape, and we're just going to run what feels like a real natural radius all the way around. Observe it, kind of glean it on that one, then we're going to mark it with the marker and start chopping. And you just kind of, it's one of those things where you just kind of got to do it. There's really no formula to doing it. I mean, it's either going to look good or it's going to look like crap. And well, hope it looks good. You can quote that. All right. Oh, we do need that on a t-shirt actually. So let's get to the taping. Alrighty, so there's our tape line. And if you look at it, the piece is straight. Oh God, we gotta get out of the light. There we go. Use my big ass to, so yeah, it looks fairly good. And I mean, I've actually sat down and redone this a couple of different times. But yeah, you just want to make sure when you look at it, it looks pretty straight. So what I do is I'll set it down in my vise where I know it's It's straight to me. See that? And I look at it, oh, we're not even straight. I mean, nothing's ever gonna be perfect, and ain't nothing a grinder won't fix. Just like when you're really awful welds don't look good, grinder will fix that. And you flip it over, look at it from this side. Looks good in person. Look at it again. I mean, like I said, you can always grind them to match if you really care, but that looks pretty dang close. So now we'll just slowly and surely start cutting that out and then grinding it and shaping it. That way it matches that side, and hopefully it don't look like Hoodapookie. Trademark term. So now you know I made my tip, which there could be a lot of jokes inserted for about my tip and how skewed it is into the left. Anyways, let's make some exhaust. What do you say? All right, we're back. This is our offcut piece, which very janky. This one didn't cut out as nice. And I started grinding, and I was like, oh wait, this is supposed to be not really a tutorial, but a chronicling of my exhaust build for the Duster. And there we go. I wanted to stop where I was. I haven't really finished that, and I haven't even done anything with that yet. But if you look at it, you lay it in the vise, you get true. Pretty dang close. Pretty dang close. It's a little high on this side, but it's nothing we can't work with. And what we're doing is we're taking the flapper disc and we're holding this in here, and we're literally just taking the grinder and straight, and that's gonna straighten that out. Like that side, look at that, that's like perfect. This side, it's got a little whoopie-doo right there at the top. So we'll do that, we'll finish shaping, and I'll check in with you in a little bit. I like my tunes, so fortunately, YouTube won't let me play my music, which I know we would all appreciate, but you guys just, sorry. I want my music. All right, we're back. There's what we got so far. Lots of shaping. Lots of rework, and I always say rework because they were trying to make it as close as possible, because I may not appear to be a perfectionist on camera, but I kind of am. So I've been laying the crevice to that crevice, and it's going to be really hard to do with the camera in one hand. Oh yeah. And I'm just seeing tip to tip, crevice to crevice, and I think that one's done. I think we'd call it done. By the way, if you want a easy tech tip on how to remove those stupid stickers. I know I'm not the only person. I hate it when they put stickers on this exhaust piping, because whatever they put on there, it don't like coming off. But if you use a scraper, a steel one, and a heat gun, it comes right off. A little acetone or something, take off the residue that you didn't get. Ready to weld. So, that's gonna be it for tonight. I'll be back tomorrow to start cutting and chopping and welding, and well, we'll get to hear the Duster as it is one last time. We'll hear it open header, and then we'll hear it with the new exhaust. And regardless of what you guys think, hopefully I like the new exhaust, and hopefully you guys like it too, because that's the way it's going to stay. So we'll see you tomorrow. Welcome back. It's day 2. And Duster's running, which is kind of silly because I gotta take the exhaust off now, so it's gonna be nice and toasty, but remember this sound. I know I'm going to regret that because now the exhaust is going to be kind of warm, but what do you say? Let's get that stuff ripped off so we can make this thing sound cool. Maybe, potentially, possibly, hopefully. Alrighty, well, the X-pipe and exhaust is out. It's not too bad of a job. So the idea is we're going to be cutting it right here just to continue this straight line. So it'll be cut right about there. That's where all of our new stuff will happen, and all this will go. Now, of course, there's no way we're going to not start this thing open header and just see what it really sounds like. I mean, yeah. If it'll start, that is the question. That sounds a lot better already. Hear the wheezy nature of the engine and somewhat tractory. So low compression, probably a truck engine with a cam. Even then, it's pathetic. So yep, that's the Duster open header. Pretty pathetic. So ain't no wonder why it's slow. What do you think about it, Dan?
It might sound better time you put a little painless exhaust.
Yeah, put those Gibsons on there, which will be just enough of a muffler.
Might be some channel it to make it sound better.
Yeah. So now the X-pipe's out, let's get to cutting. We're gonna use that new bandsaw.
Doggy.
Yep. So Dad bought us one of these Bauer handheld bandsaw thingamajigs while I was on sale at Harbor Freight, so hopefully this thing don't suck. Hopefully. That thing's freaking huge. Good God.
Some bitches got stuff.
That's freaking huge. Whabba.
Blade is optional.
Yeah, it's a good thing we bought blades.
You would think they'd put at least one blade on it.
Yeah. Alright. We got 2 packs of blades, which were actually kind of expensive for what they are. But we'll get this thing set up and hopefully it don't jack up my exhaust what I got, so start chopping and whopping. So I didn't film cutting those, but let me tell you guys, we just did a test cut with this here Bauer freaking badass little cutter dealy majobber. Here, you just show people. I know this is a small piece of pipe, but this thing cuts through it like a hot knife to freaking butter.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
That may not be too good.
That may not be too good. You gotta have enough clamping power. This might be a tad bit interesting. We had a good bite. Well, god dang, that just make your life a whole lot easier.
Better than a hacksaw, I guess.
I don't know, I still like my hacksaw.
Well, hacksaw, they ain't nothing wrong with hacksaw.
Actually, get a nice cut. So now, that should make cutting that stuff pretty easily. I did notice a problem. That, well, it's not square. So whereas on this side, which, this is the top. So this is the side that was screwing with me yesterday. That is a problem. So I might have to cut that one and extend it out, or cut this side shorter, which I really want the length. That's going to put me where I need to. So since I think this is the passenger side and that's the one that didn't look right, probably going to have to extend that one, and hopefully it don't screw everything up. This might just turn into a giant colossal, well, you know what I'm saying.
Is this the center of the car?
No idea. Well, we done up Aaron. You won't know that reference, Deb, but Michael and the rest of the audience will. That's Key and Peele. So it's cut now. No turning back. So now we just got to do mock-up. About 50 layers of mock-up. I'm starting to have the whole idea of getting rid of the boom tube idea is to make it simple and keep it away from doing like Jezebel's exhaust, where it took me 2 days to get everything lined up how I wanted it. But sounds like we're doing that anyways. Thanks, guy who built this that doesn't know what making things square is. Oh well, gotta get to work. Alrighty, so lots and lots of working and trying to get everything squared just right up. And this is kind of what we've come up with. My main thing is just getting this air gap right here, and that's further forward than I really wanted at the tip, but I just ain't got much to work with because they didn't give me much to work with as far as that X-pipe piece. And the trick right now, I got Dad's extra eyes and his help. We're trying to get both sides fairly concentric and the same. And of course the car's jacked up, so that's gonna mess with us a little bit.
The only thing I can see is this one's just a little bit in.
A little bit?
In more than the other one.
Oh. Well, that's part of the problem. I can't move this one out too much more. It's already just barely hanging on to the pipe and everything. It's on the X-pipe, and the tip, I got a little bit more room, but not much. Moral of the story, if you're gonna have exhaust done, make this shit symmetrical. So, I guess I'm gonna wheel the welder out. I might pull that one out a little bit more. We'll build our plywood bridge so we can get the welder out here, do some tack welds, pour everything back down, finish weld it, put it on, and hopefully it's still kind of where it's supposed to be. So, wish us luck. Alrighty, well, Dad convinced me to weld it inside. Probably a good idea, but that's the way it looks, you know. Kind of short. It'll probably be pretty loud. But due to unfortunate circumstances, you see how this muffler is oriented like this. This one is flipped opposite, just how we get our spacing right. So sorry, Gibson, your logos are up against the car. And we have this little problem also with spacing. So we got a nice 1/4 inch gap all the way around that one. Hammer and heat will fix that. And also to get this tip where we wanted it, we have to fill that little slot there. But it's gonna be a lot of welding, and we'll check in a minute. Oh yeah, Dad got me this sweet little welder's cap. Where's that from? Welders Nation? Yeah, pretty nice. Only downside is they got like 2 sizes for me, and they're like a size that squeezes my head, then there's this side which is like perfect for comfortable wearing, but it's a little loose. So I'm gonna get to welding, and Dad's just gonna Dad.
Go back on and work on my mower.
Oh yeah, don't forget to put your big wrench away.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, use the right arm.
I've been trying.
All right, well, I'm gonna get to welding. Alrighty, well, it took 24 minutes and like 50 some odd seconds, but done. Dang you, son. There we go, camera adjust, thank you. So now, the fun part is putting this big old heavy lump back underneath the car, marking out where our hangers are gonna go, which I don't even remember where I set them down. They might be over here still. I don't know. But we're gonna mark out where we want our hangers to be. There they are. They'll probably go on the tip somewhere right here just to support the back, and we'll put a hole, and then we'll nut and bolt, and then we'll weld them to here or something like that, and then call it a day. It'll be done, and then we can see if this thing actually sounds worth a poopy. I better turn the gas off on the welder. So I'm gonna get back underneath the car, get this stuff put on, and I'll see you in a second. Well, second for you, probably about 5-10 minutes for me. Alrighty, little check-in time. So we got the hangers modified, welded on, and well, I learned something made me really despise A bodies. Let me just show you. So normally on a B body car, this piece right here is one thickness. So my idea was to drill a hole right there, put a bolt through it, nut, and call it a day. However, apparently on an A body, 'cause that's where Jezebel's hangers are, it is not. That goes to a cavity where it's double thickness. So I put a hole there. Crap, now I got a hole where water can sit. So I welded my bolt here, which is an absolute pain in the butt. So, but now we got a stud here. We're gonna put one on the other side. And there's my marker. And just to give you guys an idea, this car's not super high off the ground. In order to do all this work, I'm laying head up here with my feet down there with like no room, especially when the exhaust is in here. So have a little sympathy. And working on the gravel. And yeah, I know, lift, or I could raise the back of the car, but yeah, I'm a glutton for punishment. So, all right, good. So I'm gonna do a little more welding on this to make this a little bit stronger and get that exhaust on and hopefully be done here in a little bit. So, see you then. Well, you can tell the duster's been moved, so I've heard it. I have an opinion. Dad, how's your operation going? Dad's welding on his new brush cutter.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Welding kind of thing.
Yeah.
Now you can start changing seals and stuff.
Used a good old Jonathan W. technique to get that brush cutter straight.
Yeah. Yeah, I used Jonathan's idea.
I love old Jonathan. Well, let's see how this thing sounds in person. Or on camera at least. I don't know how it's gonna sound to you guys. It's all right. I did idle the car down a little bit because I idled a little bit higher because the exhaust isn't as restrictive. Yeah, I don't mind it. It's still not, you know, loud or anything, but they're hung. Everything looks pretty good. But now the exhaust is out of the car, so it's good. Yep, they stayed right where we wanted them. The tips, at least. And you guys don't even know the pain that this exhaust was, so I pretty much said, even if I don't like these mufflers, they're staying. So I guess now all I gotta do is we'll set you guys down and we'll give it all a Watusi.
Not too bad for an old wore out 360.
Not too bad. Door, come on now. Come on now. Oh, that's why I slam my doors. Because at least I know they will shut. So there's the old duster. New exhaust. Sounds pretty good to me, especially at RPM.
Looks good.
It does look good.
Oh, custom.
You know, it is kind of custom, you know?
Yeah.
I don't think I'm real sold on the old X-pipe thing. I really don't think I like the X-pipe all that much.
I think that's what's calming everything down.
Yeah, all the exhaust gases are colliding right in that X-pipe, and
Not a very big pipe.
no, it's going 2.5 to the X, and then it's jumping up to 3-inch because that's mainly what I have parts for. I don't really have any 2.5 stuff. And yeah, 3-inch is definitely overkill, but if we ever put a bigger, badder engine in there, I ain't redoing the exhaust. It stays. But I do like them tips. They look kind of neat. They're very untraditional, to say the least. Yeah, I can live with that. So yeah, as always guys, we appreciate you for watching the video and enduring through this crap and the wind. And we always look forward to seeing the next one. So take care.
Bye-bye.
And bye-bye.